Shalom, shalom. Kol halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakak Badash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of thy body, and shalom to the 144,001 May peace and blessings be upon your households. Okay, shalom Barakar. Okay, found this, subscribe to this this prophet's channel. Okay, Aishiar Yasharala. Excellent lessons, excellent shorts. You know, our prophets and teachers are lined up through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Ashai, aligned with certain videos and news segments which they dive deep into and really shine the light on it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Ashai to let you know what time it is, because we're in that time. Okay, now I'm just going to play this as a few seconds. This older lady looks like to be an Edomite, but only the Lord knows. All right. But the Edomites collectively is the so-called white man. Okay, you Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, and also those that are scattered to the four corners like myself, paternal lineage, because we are scattered to the four corners of the earth. All right. James 1:1 lets you know that Jake's scattered abroad, as well as Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. We're scattered to the four corners of the earth. And the second Exodus is going to pretty much grab up the elect from the four corners of the earth. Isaiah 11:11, 11:12 lets you know that. But nevertheless, let's talk about World War III. All right. I made a couple of videos about this in the past. All right. And the same way this damn devil is going to corner you and take away certain freedoms and rights on a financial scale. Because if you don't work, you don't eat. You don't have no money. No money, no honey. Right? Okay, because it's required in this world that's still functioning at this moment in time, with dollars and cents and pounds and pennies and et cetera, right, for a short duration before everything, goes full scale digital and there's nothing tangible anymore. All right, so they're going to put you in a corner where you will need the RF to the I to the D. Okay, so they're going to take away certain freedoms. Only the elect will be saved. But the elect are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Now, in a similar scenario, what you're going to hear the lady say here, she's going to say that, okay, if you don't or you refuse to join the army or something along those lines, you will be basically, in not so many words, this is not how she said it, but this is how I'm summarizing it up. She basically says that you'll be blacklisted and you'll basically have certain roads and avenues closed off to you, meaning that that term in the world will be like you'll be cut off, right? You won't have access to loans and this, that, and the third. And, she'll break it down, but basically they'll put you into a corner as well where they'll force certain people, the way they're going to force people to take the RF to the I to the D, because they were never the Lord's anyway. I'm talking about Israelites. I don't care about the heathen. The heathen are going to take the CHIP anyway. But they're also going to put you in a corner as well, where if you don't join the army, whether you want to or not, whether you're on that, born on the 4th of July bullshit, American, they're born in the USA and all that bullshit. If you're one of them, you're probably going to join it. You're going to be first in line, 5 o'clock in the morning outside the recruiter's office. But for the rest of you that don't want to join, right? You're gonna be forced to join. But the elect are not going to join. You know why? Because the elect know what's to come of that, and also at the same time, well, the hopeful elect know that we got better days coming after this. We know what World War III, is about. Revelation 11:14. Okay. Yahweh's judgment, Yahweh's Shabbat. All right. So, we know what time it is, and we know why the fuck no elect member, unless no elect member is going to join the army, man, because we know Yahweh Shai's, or no hopeful elect member is going to join the army because we know Yahweh Shai is returning. No one's balmy enough to try and fight the Lord, man. But 2/3 ninjas would be. Esau, the heathens, they're going to go anyway because they're damn devils. We don't give a shit about them. We're talking about Jake. 2/3 of Jake are going to go because they want to go. Whether you're a so-called black, Hispanic, native Indian, whether you're a Irishman, that where your paternal line goes back to the Judites and Benjamites and Levites that were ruling Europe and Ireland at that time. Whether you're Italian, you know, whether you're pale or dark, but if your line goes back to Jake. You're Jake. And from what I've seen, man, most Italians are Jake, man. Because I know Jake got it in on that part of the world. You know, but whoever you are, and it's quite spiritual as well. That most of the soldiers that join these armies, come from homes that aren't really financially up to scale. So, but majority is Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, and a whole bunch of Italians, and some Irishmen chucked in. Majority of them are Jake. They join the army. But in this case, men were a little bit more manlier back then. But this Gen Z, they ain't gonna join. They don't want to join. Those motherfuckers are worried about what nail varnish to put on to match their sneakers, or to match their crepes, to match their kicks, you know. But they basically gonna cut you off, and a lot of people want to hold on to this world, and they don't want to lose what they have. They're gonna say, "Oh fuck it, I'll join it." There'll probably be a signing on bonus. They might not even give that anymore once you're pushed into a corner. Or I'll get to travel the world. Not knowing that it's gonna be hell breaking loose. They're gonna say, okay, I'm not alone. I'm with all my, what do you call them? I'm with my unit. I'm with my unit. I'm not alone. I've got my brothers with me. We all got guns. We'll be all right. I'll just duck if bullets come my way. Not knowing it's gonna be your end. But anyway, I'm gonna play what the lady says.
This paperwork here.
And by the way, this is from TikTok, but it's from the brother's channel, ICR Yasharala. All right. She went to the DMV, by the way, which is related to what the hell does a DMV stand for? Because we call it something else here in the UK. 1 second, man. DMV, what is that? Department of Motor Vehicles. So I guess you renew your licenses and all that over there. All right. You still can physically go there. I thought most of the shit's done online these days. Okay, well, that's still old school. Anyway.
And there's a question on here that I'm filling out this paperwork here. And there's a question on B, and I'm filling out this paperwork here. And there's a question on here that I have never, or I don't recall in 58 years ever reading. And it's for men only. If you were born male and at least 18 years of age, but less than 26 years of age, you will be registered for selective services. If you are eligible but choose no, you will no longer be eligible for federal student loans, grants, benefits relating to job training, most federal jobs, and, if applicable, U.S. citizenship.
So if you don't fight for your country, you're not an American. Okay? So if you're a native Indian, so-called black man, been in America, forever, basically. Because America belonged to our brothers, the tribe of Gad, in the Northern Kingdom. All right? But Jake has been there for several hundred years. Right? But you're not an American if you don't fight for your country. America was never our land anyway. Let the so-called white man line up. I hope they do as well. And you heathens.
That seems odd. If you don't apply to go to war, you're odd. That seems odd. If you don't apply to go to war, you're denied these benefits?
There you go. I'm a God one. Armageddon. Okay, so we know what they're trying to do. Okay, so they're saying, okay, if you refuse, basically, if you're certain, I think she said 18 to 26, something along those lines. Basically, if you're a young man, you're a young buck, right? Or you're a young man, and you don't want to, join the army, summarizing it again, giving a quick synopsis, you're going to be cut off from loans and benefits and things of that nature. Basically, you're going to get fucked over. You're going to be cut off. Okay, you're going to be financially paralyzed. All right. Okay, which is the same thing they're going to do with the RF to the I to the D. They just want to control you. They're putting you in a corner so you got no other place to run but towards them with open arms. 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant. Salakia. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right, now this is another device. The elect are not going to fall for it. Okay, they won't deceive the very elect because the elect are chosen not to be deceived. The elect have the name. All right, they believe in Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai. All right, they don't dilly dally about believing. All right, they know the elect follow the truth in its entirety, and the elect know enough for salvation, whatever level of knowledge they have, but they know enough. But most importantly, they have the name and the faith, the belief. All right, so the elect are not ignorant, man. And there's another video here as well. What is this from? 23rd of June. Trump's fucking guarantees these so-called elites, their family ain't gonna want to join. What's that video I had, man? Oh yeah, this is the video I'm gonna play. Not gonna play all of it. These are Gen Z draft meltdown. All right. By the way, copyright fair use. I'm not making no money out of this. I'm just basically playing, and I'm not going against what they're being saying. Whatever the narrative is, I'm going along with it. I'm just filtering it through the scriptures. All right, Lord willing.
Because when I get in that field, I might be. Guys, this is what I'm going to wear on the battlefield when I get drafted for World War III. Guys, this is what I'm going to wear on the battlefield. Guys, this is what I'm going to wear on.
And these are the kind of fruitcakes you got these days, man. Every damn show. I've got to say this as well. Every shows that even British shows, American shows that I grew up watching for the last 40 years that were normal, man, woman orientated, family orientated. Everything's got a fruitcake in it now, man. Everything's got a bundle of sticks in it. Everything's got some weirdoism in it. It's just crazy. I can't even watch, man. Don't get me started. Let's go. Look at this fucking weirdo.
On the battlefield when I get. Guys, this is what I'm going to wear on the battlefield when I get drafted for World War III. You could have sent me and my sister to go fight a war that I never even signed up for. Because when I get in that field, I might be petty just enough to where I might shake hands with them and turn back on you for putting me in that position.
You have just been drafted into the United States military. You're going to see the record for the most people who willingly said, I'd actually rather sit in a jail cell.
This just popped into my head. People are going to get drafted, right?
What has my country ever done for me besides make it impossible to buy a house and refuse to give me any sort of student loan relief?
I'm not fighting no fucking war for the United States. I'm not. You guys, this is what I'm going to.
Sure, we saw the same thing during Vietnam. We just didn't have TikTok.
That probably looks like a gung-ho so-called American white guy. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Don't need to play no more of that. We just saw a little segment there, a little snippet of the kind of characters that are out there. All right, Gen Z don't want no part of World War III, which is a Revelation 11:14. Now I was just checking this conscription part up. All right, now obviously, so-called Google, which is owned by Amalek, small hatters. All right, they give you the information they want to give you. Right? Just because you type in something into Google doesn't mean it's going to come out 100 million% correct. Now, they will give you truth, but they're going to always spin it in a different way. All right? Now, I'm not going to read the top part because that's bullshit. The military draft is going to come. Okay? But I'm going to go to this part here. Okay, one second. In either the US or the UK, both countries are facing challenges with declining troop numbers and recruitment difficulties. The UK in particular has seen a significant decrease in personnel across all branches of its armed forces, with the army falling below its target size. This has led to discussions about potential solutions, including reviewing recruitment processes and exploring technological advancements, but not currently conscription. They're also going to come for you guys in jail and prison or all that as well, for you Israelites. They're going to go for the bulk of it. They're going to go for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians. They're going to say that. Those of you that are in shape, they're in lockdown or whatever, they've got at least another 10, 15 years to go. They're going to say, join the army and you'll get paid and you'll something like that. And they're going to say, okay, yeah. And then once that's you've completed your tour or 2 tours or 3 tours, however they do it, however they say it, then you will get like a slap on the wrist for the crimes that you've committed. There's going to be various factors, man, too. They're going to try and drum up the numbers. They're going to do the same thing in America and the UK. They're going to do it because America and the UK are part and parcel. They're like brother and sister. Obviously, America is the so-called New World. All right. That's why they got, British towns and cities named there. York is New York up there, for example. Biblical towns and names, Babylonian towns and names. It's all hodgepodge of New Egypt, Rome again, All right, but America's going to be completely blown off the map, while the UK will probably get hit with the odd missile or two. I'm assuming probably the major cities, but it won't be completely obliterated. All right, only the Lord knows how it'll happen, but America will be completely blown off the map. All right, but the UK and America are Edomite strongholds, and so. All right, I'm not going to. All right, we talked about the UK there. All right, let's go to the US. US recruitment challenges. The US military is also facing recruitment challenges with a decline in the number of young people interested in military service because that ain't there no more. All right, there's so much information out there. You got these some of these Edomites that are soft, that are low testosterone levels. That want to that are hippie-ish. They're demons, they're devils, they're Edomites, they're crackers, but they don't want to fight. They don't love. They're like a bunch of hippies. They want to say doped up and drugged up, and they want to just say, you know what, America is evil. I don't want to fight for it. Or they're just devil crackers, evil as fuck, but they don't have the heart to fight for a country. You know they want other people to commit the atrocities. They don't want to do it themselves, even though they more than likely agree with atrocities. Or there's a bunch of fruitcakes. They don't want to fight for their so-called country. They're gonna say, oh yeah, our people just throw their weight around, or they're murderers, they're this, that, and the third, they're thieves. We don't want to fight for America no more. It hasn't done nothing for me. Look at the interest I'm being charged on my student loan. I can't even get a damn job. You know, I can't be myself. What? I can't have long fingernails and I'm a man, and I can't have that in the army. Oh, I can't have hair down to my back and I'm in the army. All these other stupid, frivolous things that Gen Z would say. But we want them to join the armies because that's another way of the Lord deleting these motherfuckers, man. Right? But the Lord is going to push them in a situation where these numbers will be increased, drummed up. Okay, they're going to go for you guys in lockdown. They're going to force you fruitcakes, right? You Gen Zs. They're going to force you. They're going to come for you. They're going to come for you. They're going to be outside your door. All right. But the elect, they're going to be defended. All right. Isaiah 59:19, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Lord will lift up a standard. The Lord's going to lift up that standard to cover the elect. But you others, other nations, and you 2/3, you're going to get it, man. All right. Let's go to the conclusion part. In conclusion, while both the UK and the US face personnel challenges in their militaries, neither country is currently considering to return to conscription, which basically means a draft. All right. And they are going to return to conscription. Listen, this is the same bullshit, right, that a man would say to a woman to get into her drawers. She might not be his type, but he finds her at 12 o'clock at night, bumps into her, he's horny. She looks built, she got a nice pair of titties, she got a nice ass. She's not so pretty, but she's doable. And he will say, oh yeah, he'll say whatever he needs to say to get into that box. That's it. And it's the same way. Basically, that song, "Give Me Sweet Little Lies," something like that. You remember that song? Give me sweet little lies. Tell me sweet lies or some shit. Or true lies. The same way Trump is feeding the same bullshit to the Americans, saying that he's on their side, but really, he's just a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's basically Chucky pretending to be a teddy bear. The same way these same so-called people are giving you this news. The same way Google is feeding the news. Okay, yeah, there's there's rumors and there's rumors of wars and there's everything alluding directly and indirectly in the fine print about being forced to join the army because these things you'll be cut off. But yet they're saying, oh, there'll be no conscription. So what the fuck was that? What was that lady saying then? She's American, is she not? Isn't the US Army facing personnel challenges? So therefore, that's a form of conscription, which is draft. They're forcing you to join the fucking army. All right? Where they need the numbers bumped up. And guaranteed none of these so-called politicians and so-called kings of the earth are going to put their children into the army. Those motherfuckers don't even get vaccinated. You know? Anyway, I'm digressing too much. Let's go to some scriptures, man. You know? This is for our people. Isaiah 31 verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. A lot of you jakes are going to join the army because you're going to Egypt for help. You're saying there's no other avenue for me. I'm just a nigger in America, or I'm just a spigger in America, or I'm a tomahawk nigger in America, or I'm a wog in the world. I'm just a so-called black or brown man in the world. Whatever you call yourself, whatever you think you are, and this is what I need to do to make ends meet. This is a so-called white man's world, Edomite world. I've got to do what I've got to do. I've got to feed myself. I've got to feed my children. I've got to feed my family. Bills got to be paid. Mortgage needs to be paid. Rent needs to be paid. Car note, insurance needs to be paid. We need to keep the clock. We need to keep the wheels churning or turning, right? So they're going to look into the so-called white man. They're going to look into the heathens for help. They got no choice. The same way Jake wakes up in the morning, the alarm goes off. Oh shit, I got to go work. I don't feel like it. I feel like calling in sick. But nah, if I do that, it's going to look bad. I don't want to fuck up my job. You're forced to go to work, but that's lawful. You're earning your daily bread. We're in slavery. So we have to do that, right? But the elect are not going to do our trust in Egypt for help. We trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai, man. Motherfuckers have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D. Fuck that. Our plan is numero uno, man. That's Yahweh, but not plan. Our trust is in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai. Salakia for saying plan. Yeah, our trust is in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai. We put all our eggs in one basket. That's the basket of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai. All right? And fuck. Well, I'm not even talking about you heathens. Fuck you heathens, you crackers, and you other non-Israelite nations. We don't give a shit about you. Take this karagma. Go to army. Let you motherfuckers die, man. Fuck you. I'm talking about Jake. You 2/3 niggas are gonna get it too, right? Right? That don't trust in the Lord. You don't trust in the Lord. You're probably the same ones that said, gave up the Lord. You don't give a shit. Man. I get pissed off. Isaiah 31 verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. You don't look into Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai, the Holy One of Israel. All right? Is Yahweh Shai. Neither seek the Lord. It's in capitals. That's Yahweh. All right? You don't look into Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai. And you're supposed to worship Yahweh Shai. And fuck the other camps that say that you're not supposed to worship Yahweh Shai, man. Those motherfuckers are going to get it, disrespecting the Lord like that, man. All right? The Lord gave himself up for you elect members anyway, not for you 2/3. That's why you 2/3 don't like the Lord. You know why? You don't love the Lord. You don't bow down to the Lord. You don't meditate upon Yahweh Shai, Brakti Yahweh Shem Shai. You don't meditate on the Lord. It's because the Lord didn't sacrifice himself for you. All right? The elect love the Lord because the elect can feel the connection to Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Shem Shai. But you 2/3 don't. You don't look unto the Holy One of Israel. You trust in the chariots. All right? You trust in their tanks because there are loads of many. You trust in their soldiers because there's many. You trust in the literal horsemen because there's some of these motherfuckers are still on horses today because they're very strong. You trust in them because, oh yeah, look at them, man. Look at that massive army. You know, look at that. Look at them soldiers, man. Look at them. Uh, uh, some of them are, 6'5" and they're swole, man. I want to be like them. I want to fight like that. Like some of you Jake say, oh man, the world can't touch us. We're America. We rule over the world. We got the best army. You still trust in that bullshit? You trust in size. Huh? What about Samson? Did he get worried about how many Hamites he took down? Right? I don't recollect the right number, but Samson went against hundreds of Hamites, man. Let me Google that. I don't want to say hundreds. I think it was like 1,000. How many men did Samson kill? How many men did Samson kill during his battle? Or Samsung, I said Samson. Oh yeah. Samson killed, it comes up Samsung. In the battle against the Philistines, Samson killed 1,000 men using the jawbone of a donkey according to the Bible. All right? The jawbone was locked onto his hand. He trusted in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. He didn't say, oh man, there's 1,000 of you fucking Zulu-looking Hamites. Jump up and down. Some of them, this is the ancient world. They're probably like taller and bigger as well and more uglier than they already are. Samson didn't get scared. The spirit came upon him, man, because he believed. And Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai gave him the strength and spiritual power. Isaiah 59:19 again there. When an enemy shall come in like a flood. And he just did it. Took him down, man. Man, our people just don't. I'm sick of Jake, man. I'm sick of Jake. Sick of Jake, man. Joel 3:1. 3 and 2. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat or Jehoshaphat, which means the Most High's judgment, and will plead with them, which is basically the so-called Middle East, which is West Asia, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel or Yasharala, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. All right. Revelation 16:16. I've got the NIV open. Should read the NIV. Let's try that one. Revelation 16:16. Then they gathered the kings together to the place that in Hebrew is called Armageddon. Armageddon. Let's go to. Okay. And the Bible is beautiful, isn't it? I'm in awe when you see the elders go through the scriptures like that. This precept, that one. I said, man, and it fits so perfectly, and this, man, it's like poetry. And I'm digressing again. I got to focus. I got to focus. Where is that KJV? Sometimes I think it's a damn conspiracy. You can't even find KJV when you need it. Sometimes it's right in front of you like car keys, and you can't even. Oh. Where is it? Let me just use a voice command, man. Revelation 16:16 KJV. Revelation 16:16 KJV. All right. Revelation 16:16, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. All right. Alluding to World War III. All right. Let's see a couple more of the scriptures. 2nd Ezra 16:34, 35. All right. Let's go here. 2nd Ezra 16:34 and 35. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 16:33. The virgins The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Because the men, most of them will be going to war, right? You women are going to go too, all right? You women are going to go too. You gung ho GI Jane dyke bitches are going to go too. You know, you the ones that like to have the mohawks and the Caesars and the bald heads and shit. You know, ruining the image of Pendleton shirts and shit. You know, wearing them, fucking having them bag. You know, you looking like trying to look like men. You're gonna find out soon, man. You're a woman. You're gonna find out soon. Verse 34: in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. All right. Verse 35: Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahshai. Okay. There you go, man. The Lord is going to get down. The Lord is going to get down. I've already read that. Is there anything else I need to read? Salakia for this, man. You know, not the best video maker. I try and I always keep saying that. I need to stop saying that. Be more positive. You know. But yeah, there you go, man. Every citizen who would be safe from draft if the US go to war, follow World War III, warning from Russian general. If there's anything else to add, I'm sure. Oh yeah. Where's that video I had lined up, man? Where is it? Not that one. Let's just play this 3 minutes. It's from One India News. Man, Esau. Now, when I look at these Edomites, I look at them thinking, man, this is your last hoorah, man. You motherfuckers are going to be in chains forever, and that's that. Then deleted after 1,000 years. Man, these crackers are finished, man. And I look at these motherfuckers, man. The demons are propping them up and giving them so much pride. They think they're going to rule forever. Boy, it's the start of your ending, devil. This was just this week as well. What's the date today? August the 10th. And they're more than likely, but look, if you look at both of these motherfuckers, Trump more than likely is small hatter, and so is Putin. They're probably both small hatters, both Amalek, more than likely. The devil. Okay, so the highly anticipated meeting between myself as President of the United States of America, President of the United States of Bitterness, and President Vladimir Putin of Russia will take place next Friday, August the 15th, 2025, in the great state of Alaska. Further details to follow. Thank you for your attention to this matter. See the exclamation mark? You know, August the 15th, Friday. There's no securing a peaceful end to the war. I'm going to paraphrase the scripture. When they say, when let me actually just read it. When they shall say peace and safety, KJV. First Thessalonians 5:3. But when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. All right, man. You know the crackers have a forked tongue. What does Tribe of Gad, the so-called native Indians, say about the so-called white man? You know, paraphrasing, they say that this devil has a forked tongue. All right, what's the definition of a forked tongue? Definition of a forked tongue. A forked tongue, which is a so-called white man, in a metaphorical sense refers to speaking in a dishonest or deceptive way, saying one thing while meaning another, or being hypocritical. Now, isn't that the so-called white man? Exactly. These devils, man. Ain't no end to this, man. You think the Lord is going to make America go on forever? Be 200 years from now and motherfucking crackers will still exist and they'll be wearing spacesuits and I don't know. You know how these futuristic dystopian type movies they have? All these weirdo type movies, you know? They'll be living on, like an Elysium. You'll be like that. Man, it ain't gonna be like that. These crackers are going down, man. You know. All right. There you go, man. So numbers are low. All right. It's all in the fine print. You just have to look for it. And all the news, all the dramatization, everything points to World War III, which will happen, and which is going to happen, right? Revelation 11:14, woe 3. All right, woe means bad times. It's going to happen. All right, that's why they always say if there is a World War IV, it'll be fought with sticks and stones. Why? They're alluding to the fact that nothing will be fucking left. Well, America won't be. America will be finito. All right? It'll be a vast wasteland, with nothing existing. Probably just beetles and whatever, man, cockroaches and shit. That's about it. Yeah, so everything's pointing towards that. And they're pointing to ways, pointing to the fact that, numbers are low in these armies, UK, USA specifically, right? And then they're indirectly pointing towards the military draft. And, TikTokers and all these other individuals that are influencers find out, and then they talk about it. And then they talk about the fact that they don't want to join the damn army in any shape or form. They don't give a fuck about America, man. Because people are actually ashamed of America, even the so-called white man. So everything alludes towards World War III. And that conscription, that draft is going to come. That draft is going to come. The way they were knocking on front doors in America and even over here, trying to get you to take the you-know-what and the arm, the juice, the devil has a forked tongue, right? Dishonest or deceptive way, saying one thing while meaning another. What did happen during C-19? Motherfuckers took it, but they were still wearing a mask and still dropping DEAD. Right? They might even, listen, man, they're going to find many ways to try and sugarcoat the situation, try and bring in the army. That doesn't work. They're going to actually be running you down, grabbing you, throwing you in the back of a van, and suiting and booting you up and putting a gun in your hand. Go out there and fight. Basically throwing you in the deep end. It's going to come to that. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there now. All praise to Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Bashim Rakakadash. Right? Everything is pointing towards World War III, which will happen because the Lord is not a man that he should lie. Yahweh Bashim Yashai. All right? And when certain things are taken away from you, people will do anything by hook or by crook to try and gain some sense of normalcy, and they will join the army forcefully, and some will be chased down, right? The same way they're going to do the same thing when they try and implement the RF to the I to the D, the mark of the BEAST, all right? But the elect are not ignorant of Satan's devices. Anyway, all praise to Yahweh Shemashai, Bashem Shalom.